Well, we are here. Welcome to video number 2 until YouTube monetization. Now, as I told y'all before, I'm gonna talk about everything. And today, what we talk about is one of my favorite conversations, and that is LeBron James the GOAT? I'm gonna go ahead and preface my argument by saying 1000% LeBron James is the GOAT. Not my GOAT, the GOAT. And I'm gonna explain to you why. Because I want to dive right into it. I'm not going to give you all these edits and all these. I'm going to dive right into it. I had a question asked, not to me, but there was a question that I saw the other day. And the question posed this. It said this. If you're comparing eras, who's better? So basically off that question, if you compare the eras, so basically the way that he angled the question, I can't think of the guy's name. The way that he angled the question was this. He said that how much better was Michael Jordan in his era versus LeBron James in his era? Me right out the gate, I instantly told him that's a disingenuous question. The reason you say that because in his mind he thought that it was because you can't question it. You can't question it, and it kind of backs you into a corner. Because if you preface that question is like, okay, well, if you're talking about just the eras, how much better was Michael Jordan in his era? You could easily argue and say, well, the players back then weren't really that good. So if you compare Michael Jordan in his era and he was that much better than the rest of his people, then you try to compare that with LeBron James and how much better he was versus his competition. It's kind of disingenuous. So you can't not compare, because then you have to dive deeper. Okay, well then if you're going to compare on that, how in the hell can you say, well, now you have to ask the question, well, were the players that LeBron played against in his era, how much better were they versus the players that were in Michael Jordan's era? You have to ask that question. You have to compare, because you can't base, because everything is different. The way that the game is played, the athleticism, the speed of the game, the shooting, everything is more elite now. So if you try, you can't compare that. So you can't say, well, based on Michael Jordan in his era versus LeBron James in his era, you can't compare the two. It don't make sense. It makes no sense at all. So you have to be honest and genuine in this question. So you have to ask, okay, are the players in today's era, when you talk about skill, athleticism, strength, all of these different things, how much better are these players today versus back then? Can we argue the fact that the 73-9 Golden State Warriors were probably in I'm gonna be real careful because I don't want to make these Jordan fans emotional. But it's really, if you really look into it, the 73-9 Warriors would more than likely beat the Bulls of that time. There would be no competition. Yeah, Jordan probably would still score his buckets, but it wouldn't be as easy as y'all would think. Because think about it. Think about it. Just truly think about this. You got Draymond Green and you got Thomas Thompson. I'm sorry, Thompson. Probably their best defenders, right? You put Thompson on Michael Jordan, cool. Or if you want to change it up, you could put Draymond Green on at the end of the day, because he still has the height, he has the size, he has the quickness enough to stay in front of Jordan. So I mean, you can play that game if you wanted to, right? But before I go off tangent here, when you look at the type of players that Michael Jordan went against, and you look at the type of players that LeBron James goes against, who's better? Are the players that LeBron James go against much better, or are the players that Michael Jordan go against much better? If common sense is common, which I don't think common sense is common, I, based off of common sense, would say that today's players are better than Michael Jordan's players in that era. Now, I grew up watching some of Michael Jordan. I was able to catch. I was able to catch when they won the finals against the Utah Jazz. I caught all of that, even though I still think that was a push. But hey, that's neither here nor there. That was years ago. Can't argue. But just throwing that out there for y'all. But to sit here and say Michael Jordan is your GOAT, and I get it for all the Jordan lovers and the ones who just think Jordan was everything because it feels an emotion for you and what you saw and what the game was back then and the way Michael Jordan came in and just changed the entirety of the game. Jordan will forever have his blueprint and his mark in the game. I am not denying that. But to sit here and say that LeBron James is not better than Michael Jordan, you have to be insane. Because at first, the main point was, oh well, he can't even be compared to Michael Jordan because he ain't even got a ring. He got a ring. He got 4 of them. 3 different teams. Michael Jordan never did that. You can't argue that. You can sit here and say, well, he had to leave to go to somewhere else. Well, you have to look at the entirety of everything. See, when Michael Jordan had the Chicago Bulls, when Michael Jordan was with the Chicago Bulls, they had the funds, they had the money to do that. They had the money to go and get, and not to mention, let's make sure we break this down. They got a Scottie Pippen as a rookie. They went over and got a Dennis Rodman. Nobody was really checking for Dennis Rodman, but when you look at the type of players that they got, you got a Dennis Rodman. Then you had younger guys coming in. You had the Horace Grants. You had the Robert Ory's. You had the Ron Harpers. You had the John Stocktons. All of these guys that you're talking about, these guys came in as rookies, so they were able to just kind of get molded within that system. However, to say that Michael Jordan molded them, no, he just made them want to play better in the sense of like, hey, look, I'm not going to do this shit by myself. We gotta shit and then get it right. When you look at LeBron James, hold up before I go there. When Michael Jordan leaves the team, the significance on how good the team is when Jordan is there and when they're not, it's not a big difference. It's not a huge difference. Now, when you look at LeBron James, when he goes to a team, how much better they actually are versus when he leaves that team. Now I know for all of you LeBron haters, I want to go ahead and break it down for you real quick. Before LeBron James went to the Miami Heat didn't win. They couldn't even get to the playoffs. What, the first, was it 6 or 3 years? One of those two. 3 to 6 years they couldn't get. The last time they won, that was when Shaq was there. So that was either 3 or maybe 3 to 5 years, somewhere around there, before LeBron got there. And when LeBron got there, instantly they were finals worthy. They were a finals worthy team because of LeBron, not because of Dwayne Wade, not because of Chris Bosh, because of LeBron James. Because I guarantee you, if LeBron James never went, I guarantee you, even if you still had Chris Bosh and you still had Dwayne Wade, they still would not be a finals worthy team. Now you can go argue with your mama about that one. Simple as that. But what was the Cavaliers doing after LeBron left? Couldn't get to the playoffs, right? Couldn't get there. And you had Kyrie. You know, when everybody talks about how Kyrie saved LeBron James, you mean it's the other way around. LeBron James saved Kyrie Irving. Because last time I checked, Kyrie Irving still can't get a ring. Even after playing with LeBron. Even after he tried to go to the Celtics. Even after he tried to go to the Brooklyn Nets. Even after he went to the Dallas Mavericks. Mind you, he with the Dallas Mavericks and he played with Luka Doncic. That's probably the closest thing in regards to the type of player that Luka Doncic is. That's probably the closest player to LeBron in regards to how they play, their style of play. Pass, shoot. The only difference is Luka Doncic just isn't as athletic as a LeBron James. So that's where it kind of hurts. But at the end of the day, they still ain't get a ring yet. So when we talk about this, we have to put things into, we have to really dive into it and put things into perspective. How great is LeBron? How much better does he make a team? How much better does he make players around him? Because all y'all see is, all he want to do is pass. How can you be a pass first? You know how dumb to say he's a pass first, but yet somehow he is the all-time scoring champ. You know how crazy you got to be to sit here and argue the fact that, well, Jordan is still a better scorer. How? When he ain't got 40,000 points, when he's not the all-time leading scorer. It, if you ask me, it makes it look worse on the rest of everybody else, considering the fact that LeBron James is a pass first. He got 40,000 points. He's the all-time leading scorer. All time. Not even Michael Jordan couldn't have beaten Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So to sit here and say that is asinine. It's crazy to me. And the fact that this man can play all 5 positions and dominate in each and every one of those positions is crazy. Michael Jordan wasn't doing that. He was only a shooting guard. Michael Jordan couldn't guard a 5 position. He couldn't guard a 4 position. Maybe a 3, depending on how big that forward is. He can guard a 2. He can guard the 1. That's about it. That's about it. And considering that, depending on the type of guard that it is, if you're talking about an Allen Iverson, cooked. Talking about an Anthony Hardaway, cooked. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? And you think that the Michael Jordan, the so-called defender Michael Jordan back then could guard these players today? And I ain't even talking about LeBron James. I don't even got to put LeBron James in. You think he can guard a Kyrie Irving? You think Michael Jordan can guard a James Harden? You think a Michael Jordan could guard a Russell Westbrook? You think Michael Jordan can guard any of these cats? You think he can guard a De'Aaron Fox? Seriously, I'm at genuine. It's a genuine question. You think he can guard a Luka Doncic? That's what I'm saying. You guys are being disingenuous when we have this debate. You're being disingenuous. Y'all love Michael Jordan so much to the point that you will hate any and everything that LeBron James does, but we're witnessing greatness right here. Witnessing greatness right here in front of our eyes. But let everybody else tell, well, he went to 10 championships. I've never seen so many people congratulate and talk about how great he is because he went to 10 championships and only won 4. Okay, I'm sorry that the game isn't played the same way that it used to be back then in Michael Jordan's era. I'm sorry that Michael Jordan has 6 rings, but Bill Russell has 11. But somehow y'all still say that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. But yet, as soon as we bring that debate up, guess what y'all say? Well, look at that era. It was different. Well, it's the same. It goes the same for this one. Look at the era. It's different. It's not played the same. Your average player today would destroy an average player in Michael Jordan's day. With the exception of a few players. The exception of a few players. Not many people can guard a Shaquille O'Neal. Most dominant player to ever play the game. You can't argue that. But who else you got? You can guard a Kareem Olajuwon. Damn, I can't talk. You can guard a Charles Barkley. You can guard a Dominique Wilkins. You can guard a Sean Kemp. You can guard a Anthony Hardaway. You can guard a Gary Payton. You can guard a John Stockton. You can guard a Muggsy Bogues. Like, what are we talking about right now? What are we talking about? You can guard a Clyde Drexler. The main thing did y'all see that video in the Olympics of the Dream Team Olympics when they played and how they were playing? Y'all sitting you're really gonna sit here and tell me that those players back then, even the Brazilian team that they were playing against, you mean to tell me that they can compete with today's Olympics? Even the Olympians from Brazil? Like, can we be honest for a minute? Can we be honest? Y'all are sitting here and tell me that they can compete. You mean to tell me that the dream team could beat Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, LeBron James, Anthony Edwards, all of these cats that's on this team, and Anthony Davis? You seriously think that they can beat them? You seriously think that the dream team can beat that team on their worst day? You really think that? That's crazy to me. If you believe that on any level, asinine. But to sit here and say and try to be so critical. And here's the bad part. Here's the bad part. And I know y'all seen the guy. We're done with the sheesh, that guy, right? All the clips that they had that he was showing of Michael Jordan, there was a lot of sketchy clips. And I'm like, okay, Michael, I see you. That's why the media is crazy. Because I guarantee you, if there was the type of media that Michael Jordan had, and if that type of media was for LeBron James, I guarantee you, every single thing that LeBron James did, I guarantee you, they would call LeBron James Mr. 4.0 compared to Michael Jordan. And if you give the social media, if you give the media what they give LeBron, and you put that in Jordan's era, I guarantee you, y'all would not be calling Michael Jordan the GOAT. Guarantee it. I guarantee y'all wouldn't be calling him the GOAT. But y'all so deep in y'all emotions, y'all don't want to accept a man's greatness when he's actually being great right here in front of our eyes. Michael Jordan wasn't doing Michael Jordan was not doing what LeBron James is doing in his 40s. In his 40s. He's supposed to be chilling. He's 28 averaging in his 40s. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are we talking about here? 6'8", 260 pounds. You mean it? People are creating super teams to beat LeBron James. Nobody was creating a super team to beat Michael Jordan. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Oh, well, nobody was trying to join teams and forces then. Because they ain't have people like that. When you got a freak of nature like that, you got to. You have no choice. He makes you. You have to. If you want to win, you have to. You have to put an elite squad together in order to even have the chance to beat this man. They tried to do it with the Celtics. That shit ain't work. The only one I would give you is the Mavericks. But let me throw a caveat to that. That's that same team who also swept y'all other GOAT, Kobe Bryant. I don't hear y'all talking about that though. Apparently, a lot of y'all say Kobe's your GOAT. A lot of y'all say that. A lot of y'all say that he better than LeBron, and yet he got swept. But y'all don't want to talk about that though. Rest in peace, Kobe. By the way, y'all don't want to talk about that though. But y'all are so critical of LeBron James on everything that this man does. Everything. If he shoot the ball and he misses, oh man, why he shooting? Man, I knew he was trash. But yet got one of the highest scoring percentages in the league. Man, that man ain't got no killer instinct. But yet, the most clutch player in the playoffs. Over y'all's GOAT, Michael Jordan and Kobe. One of the most efficient players in the league to this day. What are you talking about? One of the highest IQ players to ever play the game. And yet, y'all don't get it. Make it make sense, team. Make it make sense. I know a little bit what I'm talking about. I hooped in college. I played ball in college. I know a little bit about basketball. I understand the game enough to understand, like, okay, y'all are just literally hating. Y'all finding any and everything to nitpick at this man so that way you can find a reason not to call him the GOAT. The GOAT. My main argument will always be he's the GOAT of this era simply because he hasn't played back then. But if we're looking at the way that the game is played today versus how the game was played back then, yeah, I guarantee LeBron James will dominate in Michael Jordan era as well. Well, what about the physicality? You see how big this dude is and fast. You see how strong he is. All it's gonna be is adaptation. He gonna be as strong or stronger even back then. And a lot of them cats was on steroids and all that shit back then too. So what we saying? So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? There should be no debate. Oh, and by the way, yeah, for those of you who probably gonna say something about my Jordans back here, yeah, I always say I'm always gonna be respectful in the aspect of Michael Jordan set his blueprint, but I'm objective enough to understand that there's always going to be somebody better, and LeBron James is that person. The shoes ain't got nothing to do with what I think about the game. That's fashion back there. They ain't got nothing to do with what I think about the game and who I think the GOAT is. And I think and I believe 10 toes down LeBron James is that dude. Straight up. What you want me to do? Feel free. Feel free to jump in the comments. Talk your spit. Talk it. But guess what? When you're done, just know LeBron James is the GOAT.